You have killed a level 1 sheepdog. You have gained 5 lives. Staring at the notification flashing before his eyes, Moon felt satisfaction settle deep in his chest. He had gained the lives equivalent to 5 sheep. Things were looking promising already. "What's up?" Did the notification startle you? Selene appeared by his side, her voice carrying a knowing smile. Moon nodded. She laughed at his reaction. "Same. Even though we're taught about the mysterious system before we even arrive, it's still different to experience it firsthand. I wonder how the system actually works." Selene didn't wait for Moon to answer before heading back to her area to hunt more sheep. The question had been rhetorical anyway. Nobody knew enough about the mysterious system and how it operated, let alone Moon, an orphan who'd only just entered the first sanctuary for the first time. Moon didn't dwell on her question. He turned his attention back to the enclosed area, scanning for another target. The more he could kill now, the more experience and lives he could accumulate. He needed to reach at least level 3 to feel safer about venturing outside the base walls with the team. Besides, fighting these beasts would give him practice using this class. The more familiar he became with the skills, the better his chances of comprehending them well enough to make them permanent. Hopefully I can comprehend one of the 2 skills I mirrored from Selene's class, Moon thought as he approached another sheep. The affinity would be incredibly useful, although I doubt I'll be able to get it. It seems like a rare skill. It's not easy to comprehend. Even if he wanted to focus on the 4-element affinity, Moon didn't know where to start. How did you comprehend an affinity? Was it about understanding the nature of the elements themselves, the way mana interacted with them? He didn't have enough information yet. For now, he'd focus on what he could control, killing beasts, gaining experience, lives, and mastering elemental attack through repetition. Another sheepdog noticed him and began its charge. Moon raised his hand, water already gathering in his palm. Moon raised his hand. Then water coalesced in his palm, compressed and dense, before he launched it toward the approaching sheepdog. The creature bleated as the attack struck its shoulder, but didn't slow. These beasts were tougher than they looked, their thick hides absorbing more punishment than ordinary animals ever could. Moon sidestepped the charge. Moon formed another water ball and released it. This one caught the sheepdog in its flank as it turned to face him again. The beast staggered, its movements growing sluggish. Moon could see the toll the attacks were having. Dark, wet patches matted its sparse wool where the water had struck with force. Moon gathered mana for the 3rd strike, focusing on maintaining the compression Selene had mentioned. The water sphere formed perfectly in his palm, stable and ready. He took aim at the creature's head, where the previous strikes had left it most vulnerable. The sheepdog lowered its horns, preparing for another charge despite its injuries. Moon waited for it to commit, then released the water ball just as it began to move. Splash! The attack hit true, snapping the creature's head back. It stumbled, legs shaking, clearly on the verge of collapse. One more strike would finish it. Moon raised his hand again, mana already flowing. A furious bleat from his left startled him, different from the pained sounds of his target. This one was filled with rage. A sheepdog he hadn't accounted for charged from the side. This one was larger, with more developed horns. Moon was surprised by the aggression the sheepdog was displaying. Either way, its intent to kill him was clear. Moon's heart jumped for a brief moment. He'd been so focused on his target that he hadn't noticed the second creature approaching until the last moment. The enraged sheepdog was already too close, its horns aimed directly at his stomach. He threw himself backwards, his body moving on instinct. The horns passed inches from his stomach, close enough that he felt the displaced air. Moon hit the ground hard, rolling to absorb the impact, scrambling to put distance between himself and the charging beast. The second sheepdog turned, hooves digging into the ground as it prepared for another charge. Moon's first target was still standing nearby, swaying but alive, presenting a potential second threat if he didn't act quickly. Moon made his decision in a fraction of a second. He decided to deal with the injured sheepdog first. If he could eliminate it immediately, he'd only have to deal with one opponent rather than 2. Moon pushed himself to his feet, ignoring the angry bellows of the second creature, and focused entirely on his original target. Water gathered in his palm before he released it. The water ball struck the wounded sheepdog directly in the face. The creature's legs finally gave out. It collapsed completely, its breathing stopping within seconds. You have killed a level 1 sheepdog. You have gained 5 lives. Moon didn't pause to celebrate. The enraged sheepdog was already charging again, and this time he was ready for it. He sidestepped the charge more confidently now, creating distance as the creature thundered past. Conjure the water ball, create distance, and repeat. That became his rhythm. The enraged sheepdog proved more resilient than the first, its fury seeming to fuel its endurance. But Moon remained calm and collected. Each strike weakened it further. Each dodge bought him time to prepare the next attack. The creature charged again, and Moon was ready. He launched another water ball, this one catching it mid-stride and disrupting its momentum. It stumbled, giving him the opening he needed. 3 more attacks followed in quick succession. The sheepdog's movements grew slower, more difficult. Its bleats turned from rage to pain. Finally, after the 6th water ball found its mark, the creature collapsed. You have killed a level 1 sheepdog. You have gained 5 lives. Moon exhaled slowly, his hands trembling slightly from the adrenaline that had been closer than he'd liked. One moment of inattention could have resulted in those horns finding their target. Then new text appeared, bright and satisfying. You have reached level 2, strength 10 to 11, agility 12 to 13, constitution 12 to 13, mana 15 to 16, attribute points 0. Moon felt the change immediately. His body felt lighter, stronger, and more responsive. The exhaustion from the consecutive fights faded slightly, replaced by renewed vigor. He'd crossed the first threshold. If you enjoyed this chapter, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next chapter of the story.